G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map. Playing as the Holy Roman Empire in the color blue. It is the one, the only, TheViper. And he's looking incredible. We are on the brand new patch. He's doing very well so far. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got to show us today. We are, of course, playing on French Pass. A little bit interesting of a map. You know, the last time somebody brought the French Pass up to me, the only thing I could really think of was, voulez-vous coucher avec toi? That was the only thing that really came up in my head. But on the other side of the map, playing as the French, it's Eric. And he is going to be playing the color red. He's also French and playing as the French. So he's role-playing a little bit here. Now, I probably absolutely butchered that French before, so I do apologize. Maybe we'll see a further butchering. Viper here demonstrating his prowess as a player. Idle villager for at least 3 seconds. You got to give him a lovely clap. You got to give him a lovely clap. Now, for anybody watching this on YouTube, first and foremost, welcome. This video is for you. This video is for you. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you guys on YouTube about is that we have got some brand new sponsors. You'll see them over on the right-hand side of the screen. You'll be familiar with Surfshark. They've been a sponsor of mine or a partner of mine for quite a while. But we've got a new one because I'm on a weight loss journey right now. And I said, well, I need somebody to help me out with a sugar-free drink that can be absolutely delicious at the same time. And that's where Gamer Subs came in. They said, hey, Drongo, we got your back. We got your back. So I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can find out more about both the VPN as well as Gamer Subs. But let's get into this game and let's talk about exactly what's going to happen because it is... I'm so incredibly excited to be on this brand new patch. This new patch, so many things have changed. There is a completely new Age of Empires 4 that is with you guys right now. So number one, we have seen the return, or I say the return of mods. And the reason why I say the return of mods is because we never had them on release, and we should have had them on release, and we didn't. And I was kind of mad about that. So I could say the return of mods because we had them in previous Age of Empires games, but just not in this one. So the return of mods. The next one is custom maps. So we can now generate our own maps, create our own maps. We're going to be running a map making competition with a huge prize. So the prize pool for that's going to be $2,000. But speaking of $2,000, Viper going to be going in for the Minework Palace right now on this map as well. And isn't it great to see that Viper comes out with this beautiful Minework Palace so early in this game? We're 2 minutes in. It's a map that you typically wouldn't want to go for a Minework Palace on, and he gets it out very early. So no Ark and Chapel today. Just going to be sticking it with the Minework. And now at the same time, it looks like his opponent Eric going to be going for the School of Cavalry. I tell you what, Eric, if there was ever a map that you could be going for the other landmark, what's it called? I want to say like the Commerce, the House of Commerce, School of Commerce, Commerce School. School of Cavalry. No, that's the other landmark. The Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much, Shadow. The Chamber of Commerce, it would be this map. So how would you do it? You could put it up here. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to. You'd just put it in the middle here, and then you'd just be running them up to the north. That's essentially what you'd be doing because it makes your traders... Actually, you'd probably just go... I think you make the landmark and then you just make markets in the corner. I think that's the way that you would do it. And then that way, you don't need to train them from the Chamber of Commerce. You just train them from the corner. It'd be much easier. But if there was ever a map to do it on, this would definitely be it. But yeah, there are so many changes to this patch. So balance is just like... If I was going to go through the things in this patch... that I was excited about, balance would be at the top. But if I was going to talk about the features that have been added to this game, I would also be putting balance at the bottom because there are so many insane features that have been added to this game. So another one that we have finally received is the global queue. So you can see it down here, and it's an interactive global queue. So it's not just a dumb global queue. You would be familiar with the concept of a dumb UI element. That's a UI element that you can't interact with. But this one you can. So you can click the wheelbarrow for Eric, and you can see it takes you here to the mill. And that way I know where I'm researching it. The villager at the town center, I can see, oh, it's this one here that I'm making my villager from. So there's lots of different things that they have added. So this new patch is definitely the best Age of Empires 4 is or has ever been. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you've not played Age of Empires 4, if it's been a while since you've played it, maybe you've got the Steam or the Microsoft Games Pass, I think it's called, yeah, Microsoft Games Pass. Maybe give Age of Empires 4 another try. Maybe check it out, see how you're liking it, because these two players probably going to be getting into battle shortly, and maybe you could be doing the same thing. But now Viper, we can see that he is looking to potentially get upgrades. So for anybody unfamiliar with the Minework Palace, it's a little bit different from your other landmarks, and you can see right there, oh my god, he could potentially kill this scout. Oh my lord, he one-shots him in the drive-by. See you later, mate. Just when you thought the scout was going to be doing a drive-by, Viper takes him out. See you later, Eric Scout. So, the Minework Palace has been buffed up in the recent patch. So the way that it used to work is it used to act as a blacksmith, so you can create a blacksmith over here. So it used to act as a free blacksmith, but it would also discount your upgrades. So you can see here that we've got marching drills, 35 and 87. So the actual cost of those is a bit more expensive if you don't go for this landmark, but they've also buffed it up recently. They've made it so that marching drills and all these other technologies researches faster as well. So you can see it researches 30% faster. In addition to that, they've changed some of the technology. So marching drills, which is coming through right now, which improves the movement speed of units, it also affects it improves movement speed of infantry. Guess what? It also improves the movement speed of the prelate. You can see it there, 1.12 movement speed. Now it's at 1.24. So this bad boy absolutely flies around with his relics. And now scout on scout action, good old-fashioned scout on scout action. You don't have to go to any other websites to find that scout on scout action. You can find it right here, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube. Yes. Is it throwing a torch at the other scout? What is this bug? He's killing him with fire. Look how slow he's attacking as well. Is it the torch damage as well? I'm pretty sure he's bugged. Is he bugged? 2 attack speed? What was that? He was literally throwing a Molotov cocktail at him. I think it was just the bugged animation there. But it looks like Eric gonna be having his scouting shut down completely. Eric now coming in with a knight, got to be careful here, Mr. Viper. Viper manages to make his way back towards the town center. Prelate coming out as well, shaking his hands up in the air and saying, oh, it's a knight. Help me. What do I do? Second Prelate going to be coming out and looking to heal him up, make sure he's absolutely safe. Spearman going to be coming out in response. Keep in mind, Viper's got that beautiful movement speed upgrade that allows his spears to run a little bit faster than they should. So that is a great way to start the game off, and just make sure that you are defending against this French player who is trying his best to kill you and kill your villagers. But now Spears going to be getting caught out of position as the knights begin to move back towards the gold mine. Viper got to be careful. He spots these coming through. Villager going to get called back, but at the same time, double charge going to be coming in. It looks like the villager goes down. First one of the game is going to be lost out here for Viper. He sits on 23 villagers compared to his opponent who sits on 29. So quite a difference of opinion as well as villagers, it seems, when it comes to civilizations on this map. Still those spears chasing away at light speed, and now another knight moving in from the south. We can see more expansion happening out from Eric now. Knight going to get picked up here. A couple spears doing a decent job of stopping it from coming through. But now back towards the base of Eric. We'll take a look and see exactly what he's got going up. It doesn't look like any archery ranges at this stage. Instead, it looks like he is going to be working towards a castle age. So instead, playing the distance of this map, which is always a big factor, into consideration and saying, you know what, I'm just going to go for a castle age myself. Now Scout under attack. It's going to be the third Scout of the game that goes down. Unfortunately, Viper loses it, so no more scouting information for him. But now more spears heading up towards the north. You got to wonder what these spears are up to. Now, they obviously are chasing the knights, but by the same token, like, what's the end game here, Spearman? Are you going to come and siege down a mining camp? Is that it? Is that what you're going to look to do? Viper now back in his base. He continues to chase away more and more Royal Knights, and we do see that he has adapted into some men-at-arms. So you can see those men-at-arms being rallied directly towards his enemy, going down towards this stone mine. Not sure exactly what he likes so much about stone. Looks like a wolf did get aggroed up in the midst of things, but he's got to be careful because these knights are hovering around, but Viper doing such a great job of chasing them away. And you can see how fast these spears are going, 1.38 movement speed there versus 1.62. So these guys really are quite fast. Wheelbarrow finally coming through for Viper as well. So 8 minutes and 50 seconds. A bit of a late wheelbarrow. Typically you do see it in a bit earlier, but it is a bit more effective compared to other civilizations, the wheelbarrow for the Holy Roman Empire. And that's because they get an extra 40% resources that they can carry. And that wheelbarrow stacks on top of it. So normally, you would be able to carry 15 resources, but the Holy Roman Empire villagers, if I remember correctly, can actually carry up to 21 resources. Let's take a look. Here we go. We've got a villager at 20, 21. It drops off. So there you go. 21 resources being dropped off. Eric now reaching the castle age, though. We'll take a look at the landmark he's gone up with. It's the guild hall that he's decided to go with today, and does immediately move it over to gold. You can see now he's got a bit of a tough decision because he's going to need to make his mind up about what his unit composition is going to be. He's at the moment just got a stable, which is the School of Cavalry that's come out. But by the same token, he could look to add in more cavalry at this point, or could be looking to go into archers. We have seen veteran archers, or archers in the Castle HB, a bit of a difficult composition to deal with, but now Viper going for the cheeky little battering ram down towards the south of his enemy's base, at the same time researching so much of that technology for such an affordable price. He really does get a great discount over here, and all the other civs are going to have to pay full price. Viper, he gets 30% off, and as a result, because he's getting that discount, he's happy to research more and more tech. So you can see he's got the marching drills, he's got the siege engineering, now going to be getting in that iron undermesh coming through, and that's going to be able to help him out a huge amount. You can see that the Viper now going to be looking to take out the first house of his enemy. And Village is going to get pulled in this position. Town Center got to be careful here because Village is going to be meaning business. We see a second battering ram coming down for Viper. He loves to get the battering rams out. Bit of a raid up towards the north. Viper going to be losing a huge amount of units as well. Unfortunate timing, and now at the same time a bit of an attack on the front. 2-3 villagers go down. But Viper going to be losing a whole lot more. 4 villagers being killed right there. We see 1 villager, 2 villagers, and I think that was a prelate, and I think there might have been some more villagers. You can see the bodies are actually dying, or just sort of, you know, growing flowers on them, that sort of thing. Manages to keep the house alive, so impressive stuff coming out there from Eric. Now going to be turning his attention towards the gold mine. Crossbow's going to be coming out now for his opponent, and Eric going to be able to chase away this attack, it seems. Those crossbows going to be more than enough to do that. These guys, Arbalatrier, very, very strong. Doesn't have the Pavis, or does rather have the Pavis that he can deploy if he so chooses. But now villagers, these villagers, do they have their upgrade? They don't yet have their textile upgrade. Another raid coming down over on Viper's side of the map. Looks like he's going to be able to repel that one, though. And now we have got action all over this map. At the same time, we can see that Viper is pushing in towards the mill. Looks like a spearman has jumped in that battering ram. He's managed to hide himself for the moment, but more Arbalatrier going to be coming out for Eric. You can see that he's got 3 archery rangers. Look at the Arbalatrier that are coming out here for him. He means absolute business in this position. Loses all the knights over on his enemy's side of the map. So now it's just about his base. He's not too fussed about his enemy's base at this point. But battering ram going to be under siege. You can see so many villagers getting pulled here. Still no textiles upgrade, which increases the health of these villagers. He's going to have to be very careful in this position not to overextend with his villagers. And now begins to chase away those battering rams. Indeed, it does go down. And now spears moving into the base, going to be chasing around villagers. And Eric in a bit of a difficult spot. We can see that the men-at-arms together with the spearmen going to be able to chase away those Arbalatrier. We don't see them with the Pavis coming in. That would be pretty useless at this point in time. It does only provide ranged armor. They always do have access to gambesons, which is a unique upgrade available to the French, which increases their armor by 5. So that is an option that they've got. Also have another very cool upgrade, this one right here, which is crossbow stirrups, which reduces the reload time of Arbalatrier. So now we begin to see a bit of a lull in the action, because Viper, if we take a look at his perspective, there's no units on his enemy's side of the map. There's these units up towards the north. He's got a wolf chasing him as well, I think there was. Yeah, there's a wolf out here. Oh no, the bitey infantry. Oh no, the bitey infantry. Oh no, the bitey infantry might actually, oh my lord, 2 health on that men-at-arms. Almost going down there. Jeez, that was close. But Viper with no infantry on his enemy's side. Eric with no units on his enemy's side either. So a bit of a lull as we enter into this 13th minute into the game. So the question is, where does Viper go from here? Does he look to go into the Minework Palace? Does he look to go into the Regnitz Cathedral? Or does he look to go into the Burgrave Palace? We'll have to see. He's already got the Minework Palace down back at base, so we know for sure he's done that. But now Viper going to be scouting out a couple of villagers. Spears are going to be running in. Eric going to be forcing a drop off there and running back towards his base. He does have that. Does he have that wheelbarrow? Actually, I'm pretty confident he does. Yeah, he does have wheelbarrow, so he's going to be able to run from these spears. But keep in mind, these spears have got that infantry speed upgrade, and now falling back once again. Eric going to be under attack, but he does have original archers out, the OG style. And now a bit of a push coming out from him. Very dangerous push here. These Arbalatrier could be easily eaten up by just 4 or 5 horsemen. Would be all that he would need to eat those up. So got to be very careful. Maybe not 4 or 5 horsemen, maybe like 7 or 8 horsemen. Would be sufficient to eat that up. And now Viper going up to the next age, and it is going to be the Regnitz Cathedral that he opts to go with in this scenario. So not going to be going into the Minework or the Burgrave Palace. But you can see the prelate's already in position. He's looking to pick up these relics. We'll take a quick assessment of the relics in this situation, and now the horsemen actually beginning to come out. So this is what I was fearful of for Eric. But he manages to chase away the first prelate. Now this guy is going to be able to outrun the movement speed of the Arbalatrier. Not the fastest unit in the game, it seems, the Arbalatrier. Yeah, Viper going to be heading back. Actually, he just moves back from that position, but does have his prelates in position, ready to take out these relics and bring them back towards his base. And now Eric going to be pushing in for the kill. We do see that the horseman managed to make it out, but it is going to be suffering quite a bit of damage there, and now pushing in underneath the infrastructure of his enemy. Eric needs to be careful. A fair few horsemen begin coming out, now making their way around. Once again, making the mistake of rallying them towards the front, Viper does. But back towards the base of his enemy, Viper continues to hustle. He looks to find an opening, potentially looking to harass the villagers on the gold mine. Could move up towards the berries, but it's got to be careful. Doesn't want to move too close to them. The archers do stand by, and look to potentially take this out. And more units going down. Viper just losing units left, right, and center here. A couple of villagers here on this on these mills as well. Going to be having to recall from this position. Viper in a bit of a struggle right now because all of his units are completely just out of position. Not out of position, but he's dealing with a problem. Regnitz Cathedral does manage to get the relic inside, but the prelate does go down. And now the Arbalatrier just do sit safely, happily, by the side of the Regnitz Cathedral, just sitting here on the gold mine, minding their own business. We do see the next prelate coming back with the second relic. This is going to be the second one or the second relic that he's able to put in the Regnitz. Now, this has been recently nerfed. It used to be 3 relics that you could fit in this bad boy. Now it's just going to be 2. Manages to put that one inside, gets the prelate out almost as the prelate dies down, and Viper now with the third relic coming in. Now, the third relic, where does the third relic go? You could put it in an outpost. You could put it in a monastery if you so pleased. There's a lot of different places that you can put it, and there's bonuses that you get as the Holy Roman Empire. As we now see the emergency repairs coming through for the Viper, so not forgetting about his secret weapon or his secret defensive weapon. Knight going to be coming out into position as well. Spears moving out, looking to try and intercept. They do indeed do a great job of that. And now Arbalatrier sitting there a little bit uselessly, to be honest. He hasn't really done much with it. Going to find a villager kill. And Viper going to be in a bit of trouble. He's sitting on 34 villagers at the moment. We'll compare that to his enemy, who's on 51. But keep in mind, he does have those 2 relics in the Regnitz Cathedral, moving towards 600 gold a minute. And those guys are the equivalent of 15 villagers. And they are infinite, and they last forever. So a really cool function of the Holy Roman Empire. At the same time, a bit of a raid down towards the south. Viper moving in on the outpost, on the mill. No upgrades coming through just yet. For our French player, we'll take a look and see what he's got. Doesn't look like he's got much really in the way of upgrades. When it comes to his blacksmith, it just looks like he has gone for siege engineering at this stage. So just keeping it with the original. And now a bit of a raid coming back, going to be repelled at the same time. Up towards the north, we now see the siege engineering coming through. But is it too little too late? I'm wondering if this might be a little bit late, this siege engineering coming through. If it had come through earlier, he would have been able to drop this down. He would have been able to do some significant damage. Obviously, going up against the Holy Roman Empire, it's going to be tough trying to do damage against their buildings. They do have that emergency repairs. But we'll look to see how he plays it and whether he's able to come out on top. But now up towards the north rather, not the Norse. That is a different kettle of fish. Market going down. Monastery now going to be going down. At first, you might think, was it a mistake that he put down the market? No, that is not. He has got so many resources in the bank. And Viper, despite being under pressure from his enemy, is just going to be researching horticulture casually. Very, very interesting. Has actually taken the boar up here as well. So I love to see this. This is one of the things that we've seen more and more players do. They just go and take the boar. I mean, why else wouldn't you? It's sitting out there on the map. It's resources to be taken. You might as well do it. Get it in you, mate. But now Viper looking to push down towards his enemy. We'll head into cinematic mode as Eric looks to try and defend this position, but there's a lot of melee units out here. Spear's going to be able to connect with the Knight. Knight goes down. Horsemen just trying their best to get a good surround here, but it looks like the Arbalatrier going to be falling back. He's got to call those horsemen in. Indeed, he does. Spearmen working down on those battering rams at the same time that it's happening. And now horsemen, what are they doing? Get back in the fight, you horsemen. What are these horsemen doing? Look at them. Get back in the fight, you silly fellas. Viper doing a little bit of miss micro there, but still we see the strength of the horsemen on this front line. I've got no idea why they keep running back and keep moving in. I think it might be because Viper's not microing them at all. He hasn't told them to attack move. He just gave them like one command or something, and now they're coming back in. But we'll take cinematic mode off. Those silly gooses are going to continue to come through. We can see a bit of a raid up towards the north. So Viper facing the consequences of taking the boar. And this is exactly, why you got to be so careful when you are taking the boar, because it does potentially open you up to a raid. So one of the things to neutralize that or to reduce the efficiency of this is you can put outposts down. So one of the things I would love to see Viper do, put an outpost down in this position, put an outpost down in this position, so you've got enough to cover both of the, or all of the 8 villages that are out here, and then actually look to take the relics and put the relics inside of the outposts. That way you don't have to put them in the monastery. That is the true big brain move. But we'll look to see how Viper plays it now as we enter the mid game. We're coming up upon that 20th minute, and we can see Viper continuing to add in more mills behind the scene. His food economy has been a struggle this entire game, but he continues to try and move forward. And now, speaking of moving forward, villagers coming out. Eric a bit out of position. He's going to be losing multiple villagers here as more and more of them go down. Does actually have the upgrade that gives the extra health points, but now also going to be under pressure because a lot of these units here are very effective at countering the arbitrary mass that he has begun to build up. You can see him trying to kite back slowly but steadily, but there is the +1 armor coming through here for Viper. And keep in mind, this armor came through cheaper than it did on any other civs, and now we actually see +2 ranged armor coming through for Eric. Actually, I take that back. It's +2 ranged attack coming through for Eric. So he's looking to do a little bit more damage against those horsemen. Does a great job of kiting back. You can see there's so many losses on the field right now for Viper, and all of these infantry going to be taken out. So Viper doing a great job to put pressure back on the side of his enemy, but I'd love to see just a little bit of a lumber camp placed down here again. You know, it can be difficult in these kind of high-octane games to remember to replace lumber camps, but now it looks like we begin to see some night-on-night action. Eric getting cleaned up down towards his southern position. Viper looking for a potential raid. He comes in once again towards these berries. We'll be looking towards the town center as well, and now we actually see farms beginning to come through, and you got to wonder about these farms. Like, you just got to feel sorry for the guy who's working those farms, because these parts, I mean, they're just not going to get worked at all. It's always going to be about these lower parts. That wheat is going to be sitting there for a long time, my friends. But we'll take a look back over on Viper's side of the map. You can see he is carrying back those relics. This will be his 4th relic. 5th and final relic remains down to the south. French player yet to gather it up. There are still 2 sacred sites in the middle of the map that can be gathered. But speaking of gathered, oh my lord, it's absolutely terrible damage. Viper losing a couple more prelates up towards this northern position. And we do see Eric looking to drop down a keep. So he has had villagers on his stone. He's gathered it up completely. You can see it there, 233. We'll take a look at his guild hall, see how that's doing. He's moved it back over to food. You can see he's actually cashed out recently. He's got 1,200 gold sitting there. But he's struggling with food. He is not yet researching fertilization. Has taken horticulture, though, which is the tier 1 upgrade. Now going to be looking to stonewall up this part towards the north. Ideally, you'd love to see him stonewall up this part down towards the south as well, but it's a little bit bigger, and also there's a bit of an issue at the moment behind enemy lines, if you know what I mean. But back towards Viper's base, we still don't see any walls coming up from him. Looks like he's just going to be slowly but steadily pushing up with men-at-arms. These guys have got their +2 ranged upgrade now, ranged armor upgrade rather. And they're going to be able to try and stay alive, or be able to stay alive a lot more effectively against town centers, castles, that sort of thing. But Viper now pushing in, looking to find villagers. We do indeed see another lumber camp being placed down here for Eric. So Eric really trying to hold on in this position. But cavalry are going to be able to keep him on the runaround, going to keep him on the loose. And now we see a keep going to potentially be going up here. Eric going to be in a bit of a struggle because those villagers do not look too long for this world. We can see that they were committing to that keep, but now going to be forced to come back. And you can see the horsemen now coming through together with the knights, looking to try and take control of the situation. The men-at-arms on the back line going to be looking to take down their enemies. They've got their big axes out, the upgrade. Arbitrary doing a great job of just kiting back and back and back and forth, and managing to try and take control of that position up towards the north. Another raid, the same raid gets repelled. And now at the same time, villagers getting pulled away from this situation. More units coming in. You can see the horseman intent on preventing this from coming up. He knows if this keep comes up, he's going to be locked down towards this northern position. It's important that he really commits to it. Now 3 villagers moving forward to try and get this one up. It's doubtful that it's going to get up, though, and indeed that last villager manages to make it away alive with 49 health points on it. Arbitrary doing such a great job. Ideally, you'd love to see a few more horsemen coming out right now from Viper, but just doesn't seem to have the production, and now going to be dropping down that barracks. Single villager still out here. He's actually going to be pulling more. 8 more villagers come up, and I think he's going to be able to get this keep up. If this keep goes up, Viper going to be in a tough position towards the north, losing this boar, losing his forward base and cancelling it. He sees the further villagers coming through. He knows he's not going to be able to challenge that position and makes the right decision. He falls back. He says, you know what? Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. I'm not going to fight it. And now Siege Workshop coming out for Viper. He's going to be looking to try and get a trebuchet down on that. At the same time, another raid going to be coming in. Arbitrary going to be trying to pick off these units before they can really do a lot of damage, managing to keep the knight alive with 3 health on it. And now going to be falling back towards the base of his enemy. You can see more Arbitrary out for him. but there is action all over this base, or over this map. And typically on a map like this, you wouldn't see this kind of action. Normally on a map like this, players much more likely to wall up the same way that we saw the walls coming up here from Eric. You could expect these to be coming up much sooner. And now at the same time down towards the south, going for a palisade wall to try and cover this position. A wise decision to get this one up nice and early, but ideally you'd love to see a stone wall coming up sooner rather than later. But now Viper going to be falling back once again. A lot of men-at-arms starting to build, and Viper's economy starting to look pretty decent. Spears also going to be coming down on the south side of his base. It seems like Eric knows exactly what he needs to do to keep Viper on his toes, but now Viper going to be trying his best to hold on in this position. We see a battering ram actually coming down for Eric. We'll take a look at Eric's position. He doesn't actually see these units, and a lot of horsemen actually going to be coming down. We'll enter into the cinematic mode as Eric once again falls back towards the keep. The keep is a little bit farther away, though. He's going to be losing a lot of units here unless he somehow pulls out a miracle. He's definitely going to need a miracle because all those units have been completely mauled by the horsemen, by the men-at-arms, and finally he makes his way back towards that keep. But the question is whether it was worth pushing up that little bit too far. Sure, you know, you had a battering ram that you were going to build, but unfortunately it does go down. Mangonel going to be coming out for Viper as well. A great response to the Arbalatrier of his opponent. We did hear sacred sites were being taken. Let's take a look and see. First sacred site, second sacred site, they are empty. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. There we go. Monk in the middle of the map. Now going to be moving towards that sacred site, and more raids up towards the east of the map. But all of the cavalry does go down, and the wall is slowly being built across the south of the map. And Eric hopes to never see a unit in his base ever again. Ever again. And I suspect I'm foreshadowing here for potentially what may happen in this game, because if there's one thing I know about Viper, it is that he is an absolute snake, and he'll find a way to wriggle his way into your base, whether you like it or not. But now he's doing a pretty decent job of keeping his head above water. You can see he's looking to go for that Imperial Age. We're at the 26th minute mark at this point in time. 52 villages for him. Let's compare that over to his opponent. He sits on 71 villages, so about a 20 village difference between these two guys. But keep in mind that Viper does have a lot of the relics. Viper's got 2 relics sitting inside the monastery. He's got 2 relics sitting inside the Regnitz Cathedral. So the equivalent of 22.5 villages just coming through from that gold that is coming through from there. So already doing a pretty decent job in that regard. But now we see battering rams coming out for both players. Villagers have got to be careful. Mangonel going to be firing down upon them. All of them managed to make it out alive with 3 health. Is that even legal? How is that possible? A little bit of a dance coming through from these spears at the front here. You can see them making their way forward towards that Mangonel, but Mangonel also going to be getting out safe. And these villagers going to be heading back behind the walls, behind the safety, it seems. And now we'll take a look at Viper, because he is going to the Imperial Age. It is indeed the Palace of Swabia that is going up in his base. He is looking to try and build a bit of an economic lead for himself, and that's exactly what the Palace of Swabia is going to do. But keep in mind, this bad boy is nerfed. It's not as strong as it used to be. This guy used to be very strong. And I gotta say, I love the way that Viper is just leaving prelates around in his base. We'll talk a little bit more about that, because we got ourselves a bit of a battle beginning to unfold down towards the south. Viper hits the Imperial Age. Spearmen decide they're going to get caught in the battle, and they're just going to fight it out. They seem, and actually they try and escape, but unfortunately it's just not going to be the way. 2 battering rams just chilling out down there. More reinforcements now coming in. Has he got a proxy down here? He doesn't have a proxy down here. He's just got a will and a way. Now a bit of a battle beginning to unfold up towards the north. All of the spearmen moving towards that Mangonel. At the same time, the men-at-arms just completely taking them out. More outposts coming down, and you can see Viper is looking to build up a trench towards this northern position. Prelate going to be going down. Spears doing a decent job of taking out that Mangonel, so they're going to be happy. Trebuchet going to be coming out in this position as well. Battering rams going to be looking to dish out damage. At the same time, a bit of a fight continues down towards the spot. Where do these spears keep coming from? Men-at-arms pushing forward now. At the same time, outposts going to be going down in this position. You can see that the battering ram is going to be coming through with quite a lot of success, and more outposts coming down now for Viper. He's going to be looking to drop some springalds into this position, but he's really struggling to keep his head above water up towards this northern position. And now we see finally these walls coming in great use. This is the consequence of walls, my friends. You stop your enemy's push, you give yourself time to respond to their push, and you can repel their push. So really nice job down here by Eric to actually clean this up. And now up towards the north of the map, we see that Eric is continuing to deal with the units of his enemy. Keep actually down to 4,200 health. And now we also see double siege workshop coming in as well for Eric. And there is a very good reason for this, and that is because he's going to be using this keep as a staging point. He wants to be able to fall back towards this point and make sure that he's going to be okay. And he definitely will be able to do that. But now, again, in the middle of the map, more action beginning to unfold as Viper tries to force his enemy's sacred site away from him, manages to neutralize it, but at the same time, going to be losing all of the units he's got here. We see a mining camp actually going up in the middle of the map, and he's going to be looking to gather up some stone, it seems. Taking a look back towards the north of the map, Viper now intent on making a front up here. We can see that we do have the outpost getting their upgrades, so getting all that extra health coming through, that juicy health, but still struggling, still fighting. A battering ram coming down here for Viper, but it might be the wrong timing for it. He is in the men-at-arm age. The men-at-arm age, the Imperial age, I apologize, does have the elite men-at-arms. You can see him doing a bit of a run around that forest there. But at the same time, up towards the north, I would expect that we start to see more and more outposts coming down, and now the Springald that was moving forward going to get taken out. Viper manages to take it out. Mangonel's still chilling out. Keep actually going to be going down if he's not careful. That you can see the Trebuchet just continuing to pack a punch from a long-range distance. We see the balls hurtling in towards it. Bombard also coming out now for Viper as well. And this keep is going to be going down, ladies and gentlemen. It is only a matter of time until that Trebuchet continues unpacking, and let's watch as we do indeed see that Trebuchet taking out the keep. Down towards the south though, Viper going to be struggling once again as his woodline going to be under pressure here. You can see that Eric doing a great job of working towards this position, and I gotta compliment Eric. He's doing such a great job considering the fact that he's going up one of the greatest players of all time in Age of Empires history. The Viper is considered by many to be the best player that ever lived in Age of Empires. And he's going up against him at, rank 100 plus on the ladder, and he's dishing out this much damage. He's gone 30 minutes in the ring with the best player of all time. You're doing well, Eric. You're doing well. Keep it going, fella. You got this, I believe. I mean, Eric's looking good. He's got units all over the map. He's sitting at 86 villagers. I suspect he's added in a second town center. We'll take a look at his base. Is there no second town center for Eric right now? Eric, I'm going to give you a tip, brother. Put down a second town center. Put a second town center down right here. You're going to be very happy with yourself if you do that. Go on, you can do it. I believe. You got the resources in the bank to do it. The question is whether you're going to listen. Sometimes when we're casting these games, I will say stuff and they will actually do it. Like, I remember once I was like, you got a wall right here. And they walled right there. But speaking of walls, Viper needing no walls. He is cleaning up Eric's army completely. A lot of horsemen coming in here. And Viper really showing the strength of the horsemen in this situation. I gotta say, I love it. I think it's a very smart move. I think it's fantastic. So, good job over to Viper. But Eric, unfortunately, going to be getting cleaned up in that position. Come on, Eric. Show me that second town center. You know you want to make it. But, I mean, Eric's still sitting at 90 villagers at this point in the game. We are sitting 32 minutes into the game. He's got 90 villagers. That's a pretty decent amount of villagers. You probably don't even need to make a second town center at this point. The only real issue is you're playing up against someone who is the Holy Roman Empire, and they are now sitting at... Where are Viper's villagers? Yo, Viper, where are your villagers at? Where the vills at? That was totally off key. Where the vills at? There you go. All right, there it is. That's a little bit better. Viper needs to actually start making vills. He's not making villas. Okay, he's started. Now, this landmark that Viper has got has actually been nerfed recently, as we see a red palace in the middle of the map might potentially be going down here. Viper also looking to try and take control of this position. Mangonel's going to be coming out in response to it. We're going to enter into the cinematic mode, because once this red palace goes up, it is going to mean absolute business. The villager's going to be able to continue repairing it, and the red palace is going to shred through this. You can see the red palace just taking out all of the units so quickly. Look how much damage comes out immediately. That red palace, the red palace is on 900 health. It's slowly falling down. Eric going to be able to heal it up, managing to tap those villagers in. And this red palace manages to hold strong in this position towards the top of the map. He wasn't the best position. Ideally, he wanted to be up here. If he's up here, he controls this completely. There's no real way that you can stop him. But, I mean, at this point, Eric just looking very, very good. He's got control of that central sacred site. Going to be moving towards this second one when he works out how to click. But at the same time, Viper is positioning down towards the south. He's got the battering ram ready to roll. And now Mangonel's going to be going down. Second Mangonel trying its best. Looks like it is going to be going down. Indeed, it does. And now Men-at-Arms going to be trying to clean up the Arbaletria. Or the Arbaletria moving back towards that red palace. And look at the red palace. Look how much damage it does. Completely shredding the units of Viper. It's not even close. These things do not mess with the red palace, ladies and gentlemen. You have been warned. Do not mess with the red palace. It is one of the best landmarks in the game. And the best defensive landmark there is. This thing absolutely fucks. Do not mess with it. But now we hear that second sacred site being taken by Eric down towards the south. Viper going to be facing a potential wonder or a potential sacred site loss here. So we'll have to see how he looks to play it. How he looks to respond. Get your clock watches out. Your clock watches, your stopwatches. Viper actually heading straight onto the sacred site. He stops the sacred site from being captured. He kills the he kills the poor guy. He kills the poor guy. Sacred site was never captured, I don't think. I don't actually think the sacred site is captured. You can see on the minimap, it's just appearing right now as white. And Viper at the same time moving towards the siege workshop. Viper looking to try and take control of this northern angle. He has got a whole bunch of production that he's now put down up towards the north, and he's decided he might make a little bit more, just a little bit. 5 more archery ranges coming through for Viper up in this northern position. Going to be bringing out the bombard. Just when you thought the bombard was dead, all of a sudden it's not only inspired, but it's gaining 1 armor. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about earlier is the fact that Viper has got 8 prelates out, and we can actually see this because of the new patch. The new patch has introduced a whole bunch of features, and one of those things is this little button over here. It takes you to your prelates. As you click it, it takes you to each of the prelates, and we can see that Viper's actually intentionally gathering or sending prelates to the front line because these prelates have the ability to inspire all of his troops. And these prelates, I'm not even kidding you, they were buffed up in the recent patch, the Inspire. It was changed from a 30-second buff to a 1-minute buff. So he's actually buffing up these units for 1 minute. You can see this little golden thing when it comes in. The Lance Connects are going to be coming in. They will receive this little buff. There you go. Now you're inspired for a minute. You're dealing an extra 15% damage. You get an extra armor. There you go. Beautiful stuff coming out right there from Viper as he continues to add more and more infrastructure up towards the north, going with 6 archery ranges. He's going straight into hand cannoneers. He means absolute business. Now, the one issue that Viper may have as the game continues moving on is his gold issue. The lack of gold, the elephant in the room, the golden elephant in the room. But we'll talk a little bit more about that because a battle may begin to break out here. Elite Arbitratria rather, going to be coming in for his opponent. Eric going to be trying his best to hold on to this position up towards the north and see if he can take down that outpost. It's giving him a huge amount of line of sight, and once it does go down, he's going to be a very happy camper because there's going to be no real vision that Viper's got back towards this spot. But beautiful composition coming in here. I love the spears as well as the Arbitratria. They are elite spearmen as well. It looks like Geometry has come in, so Geometry provides a little bit more damage to these rams. You can see they've got that plus 60 coming through. But yeah, so at this point in time, the issue that Viper's going to have is, sure, he's got income from, or gold income from these relics. Oh my god, he's also got Tithe Barns that's come through. And he's got gold income from these relics. But the actual gold itself is going to run out as eventually, and now Lance Connect's going to be coming in through here. We see that Red Palace also looking to tee off, and he's got to be so careful. You really can't fight underneath the Red Palace. It is like fighting underneath 46 springled emplacements. But now Viper moves in towards this Red Palace, a little bit suicidal if I don't say so myself. And now we take the cinematic experience to the next level as Viper tries his best to clean up this position. You can see he's actually got plenty of units sitting inside this Red Palace, going to be firing off more. Needs to start healing up the Red Palace. There's not enough villagers on the outside here. At the same time, villagers do get pulled towards this position. Needs to be focusing down these units with the Red Palace. It's actually possible because they do have the same range. But Springald's on the backline managed to take it out, and it looks like we've now got Eric holding in this position. He's going to be able to continue pushing through villagers, trying to drop down another castle, trying to do a bit of a castle creep, if you would. But Palace of, the Red Palace just standing so strong at this point in time. And so many palaces in this game. Not only do we have the Red Palace, we've got the Palace of Swabia, and then we've also got the Minework Palace, and then this is a cathedral, so don't get too excited about that. And then we've got the University, which looks like a palace, and then you've got the Monastery, which prays like a palace. No, that's not how it works. There's a lot of palaces, let me just say that much. But Viper trying to creep forward with keeps. It's a keep creep. That is what Viper is doing, is looking to keep creep. But a lot of archers are going to be coming out for him in this position as well. But yeah, the main issue he's going to have is that this guy is very, very strong when it comes to dealing with an army that is not siege. So anything gets in within this range. The way that it works is it does siege damage. So it bypasses all forms of armor. So as an example, your units, they're going to have armor. You can see here the Springald has got 8 ranged armor, whereas the Red Palace does siege damage. It's doing 32 siege damage. Actually, is that right? I take that back. It's the hot oil is doing the siege damage. My mistake. I take that back. It's just got 62 arbalist damage. So even if you've got armor on your bad boy like this, even if you've got armor like that, it's still going to just bypass so much of that, because you can see that it does 62 damage. So it's still doing 50 damage a pop. And each one of these each villager that is inside this, or each unit that you put inside this, it's going to be giving you an extra 50 damage. And so it essentially allows you just to one-shot everything. But we'll now take a look over at the base of Viper. We'll see exactly what he's up to. He's got no idea about the walls that are beginning down towards the south. Eric looking to wall Viper in. Viper researching a lot of upgrades, and once again, we look towards the north as a huge battle begins to unfold. It looks like the first of the keep that was creeping forward in this position is going to be going down. You can see Viper trying his best to hold on, and now the Red Palace is going to be firing off towards these units, trying to clean them up, and you can see it's just sprinkling down damage, doing such a great job, and at the same time, villagers going to be entering into that palace. Ideally, want to be focusing down the high priority units on the back line. It's very, very potent when it comes to doing that. And you can see that he falls back under this, and now look at the damage that comes out just non-stop. Watch the health. Watch the health of the units. You don't even get to see it. It's literally two-shot, like within a second, just bang, bang. Not even a second, like within a millisecond. It's just so quick. You can't even click that fast. That is how fast it goes down. Viper now looking to get emergency repairs on this keep as well, trying to keep it alive for a little bit longer. He's brought a town center up to the front line to provide that emergency repair. So doing the right thing in this situation. Emergency repairs kind of works like creep. If you've ever played StarCraft and ever played the Zerg, it's the same concept where it can be extended forward through your buildings, but as soon as there's the gap in your buildings, then your creep is no longer extended. So you can see the town center tries its best to extend out that creep, not going to be lucky. Instead, just decides to drop a hatchery, aka a town center, on the front line here. And Viper continues to struggle now up against Eric's cannons. Keep in mind that the sacred sites have been taken. Okay, Eric is in control of this position. He has now also managed to wall up and stonewall up this south entrance as well. So the entire fighting is just going to be happening up towards this north part. Viper is going to need to break this, and the question is, how does he look to break this? He can't really use cannons, because as the Holy Roman Empire, if he makes bombards, he's not going to have the range to outrange the Red Palace. And now a bit of a fight beginning to unbreak again, with Viper holding on for dear life. You can see he's working on this, but at the same time, let's take a look at the sacred site tracker. It just tells you that there's 2 sacred sites that have been captured. So not really an effective tool to track the sacred sites, I would say. Perhaps you could call it the sacred counter. But we'll switch it over to income per minute. I know you guys love to see that, especially when we reach these late game situations. Eric at the moment sitting on 120 villagers, 113 for Viper. So these guys are pretty even Stevens when it comes to it. Look at the cannons now coming out for our French player. French cannons looking incredibly strong. And Viper now in trouble as these keeps continue to go down. Emergency repairs not quite up yet, and we can see a whole bunch of villagers getting inside to garrison in this position. A lot of infrastructure up towards this northern position for the Viper. And the question is whether he's going to be able to hold it as his opponent continues to push him back and can always just fall back towards this Red Palace. Now, one of the other things to note is down towards the south, there's a potential sacred site steal that could happen, a potential sacred site neutralization that could happen, because all his enemy needs to do, all Viper needs to do, is stand on this sacred site for about 30 seconds, 40 seconds it works out to be, and the sacred victory stops. So that's what it's going to be about. So that is what Eric is going to be looking to do. He's going to be looking to try and make a sacred victory. But finally, we see Viper with a stroke of genius bringing out the trebuchets, and that you can see they've got line of sight on the Red Palace beginning to unfold, and now we watch as those balls begin to roll down the hill towards the Red Palace. It's going to be another 10 or another 9 shots before that Red Palace is dead, but now we see bombards moving up, trying to take out that trebuchet. Trebuchet immediately evaporated, needs to be protected by some sprinkles, and a bit of a battle beginning to unfold once again. As you can see on the back line, just all the trash units coming out for Viper. You got to really ask the question, Viper, where are all your military at right now? Where the units at? As once again, it looks like Eric going to be able to hold in this position. We'll enter into the cinematic mode. Springle's doing a great job of firing off upon those units on the back line, but the Red Palace just doing so much work in this position, and Viper really struggling, going up against the Red Palace and just not having a chance at all. Red Palace being so damn strong. And managing to hold on now. Culverin going to be firing off on that Red Palace, but don't do a lot of damage. And now Viper, I mean, he's managed to secure up this front once again, dropping down a keep. But keep in mind, we have got the timer ticking right now. We have got a sacred site victory that may potentially be happening in the near future. The way you're going to know about that sacred site victory is you're going to hear gongs. I will call it out, but you will hear 3 gongs. That's what it's going to start off. Oh, I think it's 3 gongs. No, 1 gong to start off with. That's what you're going to hear. Then at 2 minutes remaining, you're going to hear 2 gongs. And then with 1 minute remaining, you're going to hear 3 gongs. So the question is Viper going to be able to stop the gongs before the final dong dings its bell? That's what we're here to find out. That's the reason why we loaded up the game. That's the reason why we downloaded the patch. That's why we're watching the video. We are looking to see if Viper's going to be able to do it. But now down towards the south, Viper actually going to be dinging his dong down here as Battering Ram going to be looking to take out the stone wall. Villagers being moved forward into this position. Wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some secondary walls, maybe a keep or two getting put down in this position. You can see that in response to this, a whole bunch of outposts have been put down, putting in placements on them as well, wanting to avoid spending too many resources on this position and wanting to avoid spending population. We do see a secondary wall being placed down, the stone wall coming down here for Eric, and now Viper looking to push up. He's got a couple of spears with a single men at arms. That single men at arms in the back threw me off. Double trebuchet now coming out for Eric here as well. Trebuchet is probably going to be going down if Eric's not careful. It looks like he's bringing more units out, but it looks like the Treb's going to be going down. First one, definitely. Second one, maybe. It looks like a second keep going to be coming down here for Viper. You can see the way the ground changed. Viper is definitely intent on getting it up. I don't think he knows the power of the Red Palace as Viper once again looks to push in, and indeed that keep cancels instantly. Viper going to be trying to get this up. That Red Palace does so much damn damage as we enter into the cinematic mode, and now Viper tries his best to secure this position. Keep goes down for a third time, it seems, and the Red Palace is just unfolding upon these units. Trebuchets on the back line looking to keep making it work. Now he's going to be able to pull these villagers. These villagers do stand by idly, ready to go to repair in this situation with the crossbows. The Arbaletiers going to be able to pull out villagers doing their best to try and take down the Trebuchets, and Viper once again goes up against this Red Palace, but you've got to ask the question, how is it possible that he could even hold in this position? Villagers somehow getting called towards... There it is. That's the gong. That's the gong we were talking about. 3 minutes until Sacred Site victory. Set your stopwatches, ladies and gentlemen, for 49 minutes. That is where we're going to, but Viper now steps down upon the southern position, as we can see that it looks like a fight is not only just happening towards the north, that we've got a fight down towards the south as well. Eric going to be trying to hold on. He needs to neutralize this Sacred Site to the south. By the same token, Eric needs to try and keep it alive. It's incredibly important at this point in time that Viper tries to neutralize this Sacred Site. Now villagers get pulled from Eric. He needs to stand on this site to prevent it from being neutralized. Villagers going to be out here looking to do some damage, and Eric probably going to be in a bit of trouble. You can see it almost feels like he's all in. Viper instead going to be dropping down a keep. He realizes that his position up towards the north can't really be moved any further forward. He's got trebuchets on the back line, but they do potentially pose a threat because they may get sniped out by the Springwoods of his opponent. You can see he's got the roller shutter trigger upgrade, giving him that extra bit of range. And look at that Red Palace go, baby. It is doing so much work. Viper really beginning to struggle at this point in time. Now down towards the south, we see more keeps coming up, but now we see the new and improved villager. Well, it's not the new and improved villager, it's the new and improved mechanic that allows your units to do more damage to things that are being sieged under construction. So because it's under construction, you're doing more siege, but now we spot the keep going to be getting that boiling oil off, putting the boiling oil down on the villagers. Now the keep with the town center behind, it's slowly going down, but you can see he's going to do emergency repairs on it. There it goes, because he's got the town center. He extended out that creep, and now he's going to be repairing up the keep. He's found himself a foothold. Finally, Viper manages to do it. He's struggling at the same time towards the north. We can see that he's almost completely given up on this front. His units are moving back. He knows that the new front is down towards the south. More and more units beginning to come through. Viper actually doing it at this point. Villagers falling back towards the position, need to try and find a keep or a castle that they can drop. We'll have a look at the guild hall. It's sitting on 5,000 gold right now. Eric's completely forgotten about the guild hall. For anybody unfamiliar with the guild hall, the way that this landmark works is that it adds more resources over time. And now we can see that Eric going to be contesting this Sacred Site, preventing Viper from taking it. There's less than 3 minutes to go at this point in time as Viper tries his best to go through. The elite horsemen have so much armor that they're actually going to be able to hold this or prevent this attack from coming through, and it looks like he's going to be able to stand on top of the Sacred Site. Viper now moving forward with more keeps. It's going to be the second keep he tries to put down towards this position, and it looks like the Sacred Sites may potentially be captured here. Viper doing it. Viper actually doing it. Where are the forces coming through for Eric? They're too slow. He's gone for the infantry-based composition compared to his enemy, Viper, who's running the cavalry. He's able to run rings around him non-stop, and now the second keep going to be coming up. Sacred Site potentially going to be going down here, and if it does, with that, Eric's potential hopes of winning this this game may go out the window, and there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. The Sacred Site is lost. The victory no longer in play at this point in time. He'll need to recapture that Sacred Site to be able to regain control of it, and finally, the units manage to make their way across the map, but it's too little, too late at this point in time, and now Viper turns his attention towards the base of his enemy, sending those horsemen down towards this southern position, looking for a way through. Going to be able to find a stone wall, and he's going to need to bring in a ram to try and deal with it. But now Viper, he is turning all of his attention down towards this southern position. But Eric, I suspect, might look to go up towards the north, and indeed he does begin to head back towards this position. We can see all the remnants of the keeps that have been put up here, still with the fort, the foundations, just the eternal struggle against this. And now down towards the south Sacred Site, we see more villagers actually going down. They're trying to put an outpost up in this position, but the bombard outpost just keeps firing off on it. Culverin going to be moving forwards to try and look to deal with any potential siege that is coming up, and indeed we do have the counterweight trebuchet that is making its way through. A big, massive infantry up here for Eric. I'd love to see a Mangonel or 6 come out for Viper, but Viper now under siege towards this northern position. He's managed to prevent the Sacred Site victory, but the question is whether he's going to be able to actually find a victory himself. That is going to be the difficult part. And now Eric continues to push through towards the base of Viper. I don't even think he's interested in taking down the infrastructure. I think he might just be going for the landmark victory. We can see the landmarks of Viper. He's got number 1, the Palace of Swabia. Number 2, the Regnitz of Cathedral. The Regnitz Cathedral. Number 3, the Minework Palace. And number 4, the Town Center, the Capital Town Center. And now pushing in towards the base of Viper. He is looking very intent on going for the kill here. He's surrounding his opponent's army, completely obliterating it. And how many units do we see right here for Eric? More than 100 units coming out for Eric, and Eric turning his attention towards the siege workshop. In fact, not a bad choice. You could see he initially was burning it down, pulled his units away. He's like, wait, no, that's a siege workshop. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to burn down. The reason why you want to burn this down is because there could be a mangonel that comes out of that, and you don't want to have to deal with that later. And now we see him turning his attention towards the university of all places. Must be a guy who doesn't really appreciate the finer arts, the educations, and really means, does he think this is a landmark? Maybe it's such a beautiful building is like, must kill the landmarks. It's like, that wasn't a landmark, bro. That was a university. He's going to continue now working towards the mining camp. He's finally found the Palace of Swabia, I suspect. We'll take a look from his perspective. Indeed, he does. And now turns his attention towards the house. This guy has definitely got a problem, and it doesn't seem to be with landmarks. It seems to be with houses, as that Sacred Site towards the south has been captured for the Viper. And now slowly the trebuchets work their way through it. And at the same time, Viper now looking to do a massive surround up towards the base. You can see the crossbows or arbalètre are going to be struggling here. Viper with so many damn horsemen. Beautiful micro from Viper coming around towards the front, coming around towards the back, doing a complete surround. 101 units up in the showers at Ram Ranch, and it feels like to me Viper might have this one up. You can see the spears getting caught back in this position. At the same time, crossbows going to be trying to make their way out of it, and look at the cleanup that is coming through on aisle 3 right now. Viper managing to hold on in this position just when you thought it might be over, just when you thought his enemy was coming in for the kill. Eric, looking to struggle, now turns his attention towards a barracks of all things, and finally works his way through. There's not going to be a lot of units left here for Eric. We'll take a look and see what he's got. 43 arbalètre, 6 spears, and the reinforcements now going to be looking to catch these units as well on his way out. Mangonel comes off, looks to fire down on a single spearman on the front line. Ideally wants to be focusing towards that larger mass, and you can see Viper beginning to move up. Let's have a look and see how he goes. Beginning to unfold, unpack, and oh my god, the damage that comes out right there from the Mangonel. That is why he took out that siege workshop. That siege workshop is so important to taking out this military mass. And now the Mangonel continues to move up. He knows Eric is moving forward. He's got to keep him on his toes. At the same time, worked his way through the back line here. He's found a way through on that position, and a trebuchet begins to unfold. At the same time, Eric is actually keeping his head above water here. Mangonel shot, Mangonel shot, Mangonel shot, doing so much damage there, taking out about another 6 arbalètre, and now the forces of Eric begin to dwindle. We'll take a look at Eric's base. I want to see that guild hall. He's still got it on gold. He's managed to capture it out. He's managed to exchange it all. However it is that you'd say. Cannon now moving forward. Going to be looking to take out that Mangonel. Now keep in mind, this is a French cannon. It is a unique unit. They've got unique cannon. I don't think it needs to unpack and unfold. It's just always a fast boy. But now in the middle of the map, Viper going to be turning his attention. The first keep did actually go down. Second keep still stands steadfast and looks very strong, very dominant as Eric continues to try and hold on. But it feels like it's getting away from him. Viper, one of the greatest of all time. You now begin to see why it is that he is the greatest of all time. Somehow manages to potentially counter his enemy. And now his enemy is in trouble as Viper begins to move towards the base of Eric. And Eric going to be under siege, it seems, as these horsemen look to try and take control of the narrative. There's a bit of an expansion down towards the south. We don't really see too much of the way in regard to villages down there, but it does lead to a potential option for Viper. And now we see that Eric is looking to clean up this forward base, but I think Viper's going to be happy. It doesn't really bother him that he's lost this forward base. He's going to be potentially looking to contest this sacred site in the center of the map. And you can see that Viper actually looking to try and take control of the gold. So he's very cognizant of the fact that Eric may be running low on gold. He's got 23 villages on gold, or at least had 23 villages on gold. He's got 4,000 gold in the bank. But at the same time, it's about having an income, because you can spend that gold in the blink of an eye, ladies and gentlemen. A blink of an eye, and that gold can be completely gone. But it doesn't seem like it is going to be the case today as he looks to try and take control. He's going to be dropping some keeps down on that, I suspect. But you can see all of the gold that has been taken here. Eric tried his hardest, and now onto the wood line of Eric. Eric looks to be falling apart right now. He's sitting on 80 villages compared to Viper, who sits on 120 at this point in time. And now up towards the north, he continues to push through on this infrastructure. Viper still yet to put down any walls up towards this northern position, and tries his best to hold on, but we do see Lanskanax coming out, and look at the damage that comes through from these guys. So much damage. 28 damage a swing coming through on that. And at the same time, another raid up towards the North Horseman. Going to be doing a little bit more damage back there. A little bit more horsemen back there, rather. Market going to be going down. We hear a relic being captured up. Viper grabbing the casual 55-minute relic. Villagers moving forward. Do you see what I see? It's just a lumber camp, Drongo. Don't get too excited. It's just a lumber camp. So Viper has completely run out of wood on his side, and he has decided, well, I think it's best for me to migrate to your side. He's still got a fair bit of wood here. I mean, like, there's a bit of wood there. There's a tuft over there. It's not a huge amount, but he's still got it. But now Eric continuing to siege forward. He's taken out all of the infrastructure here from Viper. At the same time, he's going to be running a defense. Ideally, I'd love to see like a big wall come out from him, but he is struggling. He's really struggling to make ends meet. You can see he's got a lot of units in production, but at the same time, he doesn't have a lot of villages. He's down to 55 villages. He's down. Where are his units right now? I mean, he's got a lot of units in his base. He's got units in the middle of the map, I guess. Yeah, we see like a cannon is up here, but that's really it. It says he's got 100. There's more up here. He's got 24 up here. He's up to 147 military at this point in time. He's sieging down the houses of Viper, but still we don't see any movement when it comes to the landmarks. So we'll have to see how he plays it. Villagers in the middle going to get caught once again. And Viper just taking full control of this game. The way that I see it, I don't think Viper loses from here. But I've called good game before. Whether it actually happens, who knows? Viper now going to be coming into the base of his opponent. The consequence of not having these backup walls. But interestingly, we didn't even see walls come out of Viper. Viper is the kind of guy who does a no-wall challenge on French Pass and wins. And that is impressive. But now we begin to see the battle unfolding as Viper tries to hold on. Once again, we'll enter into cinematic mode as we can witness the Mangonel going to be going down here. Arbalatrier is just focusing down these units and overkilling so much. Ideally, you want to bring these units up a little bit more. Get them in to do damage against these units on the back line. It's going to be hard, but we can actually see that he's doing work, taking down these landmarks. He's going for a bit of a landmark snipe potentially, as the first of the landmarks may potentially be going down in the next second. Looks to clean up all of this position here from Viper as we take off that cinematic mode. And now Viper in the middle of the map, also going to be looking to clear up his opponent's constructions, buildings, infrastructure, all that good stuff. Villages behind enemy lines. Even if his enemy looks to try and seal up this position, he's going to have those villages stuck behind him. And now we do see Viper losing a landmark. So just when you thought that the game was over in the favor of Viper, all of a sudden it looks like Eric tries to get back into the game. Viper with a Mangonel sitting back behind here. Where is Viper's military though? It looks nowhere to be seen. He's sitting on 62 population at the moment, but a lot of that going to be stuck in the middle. You can see it making his way back towards this, keeping up the middle as well. He's really trying to focus. Needs to be cognizant of the fact he may lose the game if he loses his landmarks. A lot of the time, you won't even be aware that it's happening, and then by the time you realize it's too late already. But now we see Mangonel's firing off a little bit of work down towards these crossbows. Viper fighting on the farms. Trebuchet doing its thing, just heading forward in a beautiful flanking Trebuchet maneuver. well. You love to see it. Trebuchet going to be going down. No, Trebuchet going to be staying alive here as the crossbows managed to do a pretty decent job and now firing off upon these villagers. He tries to keep the Trebuchet alive. You can see it's actually taking a fair bit of damage here. Villagers actually going to be looking to try and do damage, but they all do go out. Trebuchet is kept alive, and now Viper under pressure because this landmark snipe is actually happening. He's got 2 cannons in the base, a single Trebuchet. Now Viper going to be rallying more and more troops. We enter into the cinematic mode so we can begin to witness it in all of its glory. Viper loses the Regnitz Cathedral, and now he's going to be struggling to try and get that gold income. But now we see the emergency repairs coming in for the Holy Roman Empire. He's focusing it down. He's got the bombards here, focusing on the wrong landmark. You ideally just want to be focusing on that mine work, but now Viper going to be able to completely overrun his enemy's army. Just wasn't killing it fast enough, it seems, and Eric going to be struggling here in this position. At the same time, back towards the base of Eric, a little bit of an attack beginning to go down. You can see hand cannon is rallying towards Viper's base, but Viper has lost 2 landmarks at this point in time. He has managed to repair his Regnitz, but the question is whether it's going to be enough, and I think it probably will be because this has been completely repelled. You see the horseman actually going to be able to take down the cannon. Cannon turns around. He says, "Were you talking to me?" And takes down their shot. Spears going to be able to clean up that horseman. The cannon makes it out alive here, but Eric sitting on 82 population, fellas. It is not pretty for Eric right now, and he's only on 1 town center. And this is the consequence of staying on 1 town center, is that, yeah, sure, you might have 1 town center, but now you can't rebuild any of the villages that you lost. And Eric sitting in the middle of the map, probably just wondering where to from here. And I gotta be honest with you, Eric, I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Viper has managed to completely and utterly just defend on every front. You've done a great job fighting it out, but those mangonel shots can be so scary. Nice little micro coming in here from Eric, just taking out these villagers from Viper, but keep in mind, he's got the Palace of Swabia back here. He's going to be able to rebuild these villages if he so chooses. Viper sitting on 69 villages, so perhaps Eric not out of the, or Viper rather, not out of the woodwork. Yeah, 69 villages, nice. 38 villages, not nice. Now Eric, oh no, Eric, insufficient wood. Just when you thought we'd made 1 sex joke in a minute, we're going to get 2 in a moment. Insufficient wood for Eric, not what his girlfriend wanted to hear, but unfortunately it's going to be the case as the cannons head towards the middle of the map. And I mean, what an absolute match. And this is on, keep in mind guys, this is on the brand new patch. This is on the brand new patch that we are witnessing this in all of its glory. This is Age of Empires 4. And what an absolute treasure of a game this has been. Viper somehow managing to hold on. We saw the Sacred Site timer getting down there below, I think it ends up below the 2-minute mark. And now Eric beginning slowly and steadily to fizzle out. It seems he's only got 13 villagers on food, 41 villagers. He's trying to make it work. You know, you can see he's got a few villagers queued up in this position, but the question is 1 town center going to be enough for it? And now we continue to see Viper just moving in towards this final sacred site. The landmark in the center has gone down. Finally, the Red Palace has fallen, and the question is, can the Red Palace be enough to force Eric to leave this game? And indeed it is, because with the loss of that comes the loss of his game. Well played over to the Viper. I hope you guys have enjoyed this casted game. What an absolute marathon it was. And congratulations to Viper. An absolute treasure. Good game. Well played. We'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this casted.